Hey guys, today we are going to talk about how to never run out of things to say. Have you ever been on a date or talking to someone important and you just didn't know what to say next? Maybe you start to wonder what you and your friends talk about and wonder why you can't talk to this person for a long time. Well, today we are going to cover 7 tips so that you will never run out of things to say. Tip number 1, the key is to actively listen to what they are saying and ask follow-up questions. Actually listen, and you need to do something that is called active listening. Do not just say, yeah, yeah, okay. But ask questions that you are interested in and that expands their story or expands another aspect of who they are. For instance, if they're talking about the time they went rock climbing and how they freaked them out, maybe you would ask, would you try rock climbing again? Or, have you ever felt that kind of fear before? Those questions either one, further the story, or leads them to talk about another time that they have been freaked out. Tip number 2, follow up on point number 1, but tell stories and experiences based off what they say. For instance, after they say their experience about rock climbing, maybe you could share a story about a time you went rock climbing or a time that you felt afraid. This makes it so that it's not interview mode the whole time. You make the person feel that they're being listened to, but they also learn a lot about you, and by telling stories based off of their stories, it creates a natural bond. Tip number 3, do not ask yes or no questions, rather ask open-ended questions. Rather than asking, have you ever been rock climbing? Ask, what are your hobbies, or do you do any sports? To be honest, asking yes or no questions is boring. Ask questions that make them think, such as open-ended questions. By asking yes or no questions, you treat them more like a human being rather than a robot answering yes or no questions. Tip number 4, try to talk only 50% of the time. The person you are talking with should not be talking all the time, and you should also be trying to talk all the time. So a good ratio is 50-50. If it does err on one side or the other, it is better to let the other person talk more. This will make them like you more often or not. Point number 5, always have go-to questions in your mind. It's always good to have a couple questions ready in the event the conversation gets a little quiet. Questions such as, what are your hobbies? Do you have any pets? What do you do in your spare time? Are all good questions to ask in case the conversation gets stale. There's another popular method to keep talking called the Ford method. It stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You talk about those things in that sequential order, slowly building up to each one. Tip number 6, ask about their passions. Getting them rattled up about their passions will not only get them excited, but it will also get you excited. If you start them talking about their passion, they will more likely than not start to love you. And tip number 7, be yourself. Yes, it is good to have a plan, but at the end of the day, people like you for you. Just make sure it's a little polished and thought out. Practice these 7 tips and you will never run out of things to say. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, click subscribe and comment below and let me know what you thought. See you next time.